By the way, sir, is this funny? I'm sorry.
This is not funny, sir. Not at all. It's been 2 years of misery.
Jen! Are you aware of that? I am. Oh, wait, no. Trouper Proctor. Trouper Proctor. Here, question mark?
Mac.
Regard to the home when you get there, what did you do?
I got out of the driveway because I didn't want to get blocked in, and I parked.
And then you indicated that you parked in front of the house, correct?
I did.
Exactly where was your Jeep in front of that house?
We're continuing our observation of the Higgy Bear in his natural habitat, specifically with regard to why everyone lied about where he parked his Jeep on that fateful morning.
By the mailbox.
Where was your Jeep in relation to that mailbox?
The back end of the Jeep, the rear, would have been around equal with the mailbox, and I was not blocking the driveway.
You indicated that Jeep was just a little bit in front of the mailbox. About there, correct?
Yes.
And the rear end of that Jeep would be butting up against the driveway.
Yes.
We have confirmation from the independent witnesses that the Jeep was not parked in front of the house. The real question is, why is everyone lying? And we're going to figure it out today.
You say that there was a Jeep in the street at that time, correct?
There was a Jeep parked in front of the end of the driveway in front of the mailbox.
The cool thing about knowing the Jeep was not parked in front of the house is now we have the ability to observe the tells each of these people give when they lie about why and where the Jeep was parked there.
The idea where, in reference to your house, where Mr. Higgins parked.
I'm not sure. I thought it was out on the curb, facing up Fairview, maybe by our mailbox, but it could have been in the driveway. I'm not 100% sure.
And as you testified, that Jeep was there the whole night. Brian Higgins didn't go out to move it at any point, correct?
I never saw Brian Higgins go outside to move his Jeep. Jeep was right there, from the edge of the driveway to right there. I believe it was a two-door Jeep.
So no, I don't remember where Brian Higgins parked. I remember him pulling out so I could pull in, and then I didn't really see where he parked.
And where was it in relation to the house that you parked the truck?
This is one of the kids that went to pick up Julie Nagel, one of the kids that was inside for Brian Jr.'s party.
Right in front of the driveway.
Now, you mentioned that there was another vehicle that was parked
And he was driving a pickup truck that night.
in front of the house as well, is that correct?
Correct.
When you got there, your best memory is that the black SUV was already parked outside the residence, correct?
Correct.
And it was facing in the same direction that you were facing as you approached the residence.
Yes.
The black SUV they're referencing is Karen's.
Using that laser pointer just direct the jury's attention to where in the photograph that is.
Right in front of the driveway, right there.
Now, also within this photograph, do you see the general area where you observed that SUV in front of you while you were out in front of it?
If I had to guess, I would say maybe half of the vehicle.
And there was nothing obstructing your view as you sat in the driver's seat of your Ford F-150 of the back of that black SUV, correct?
Correct.
You did not see, for instance, a Jeep with a snowplow on the front parked in between you.
I did not.
That spells disaster for Higgy Bear and everyone else claiming the Jeep was parked in front, but we still have not figured out why they're lying about this.
In fact, you didn't see a Jeep with a snowplow parked anywhere on the property that you recall, correct?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Exactly where was your Jeep in front of that house?
By the mailbox.
I don't know. Again, when I looked outside, I was focused on the SUV. I wasn't focused on the Jeep or the truck. I don't know the exact distance.
Look at the struggle they have once you start to really question about the specific details.
You could walk 3 more feet or 3 feet that way, but it was out in front of the house. That's all I can tell you.
And you didn't see any other vehicles parked along the property line other than yourself and the black SUV, correct?
Correct.
Looked out to see the other vehicle out in front of the house. I noticed the big SUV parked in front of the house.
As far as the other vehicle, did you observe at least enough to know whether or not it was behind the dark SUV, in front of the dark SUV, or something else?
Yeah, it was to the left. It was equivalent to where the driveway was. And then after the end of the driveway...
This big dope looked out the window when the pickup truck arrived, and he saw the pickup truck and Karen's SUV. But then, mid-testimony, he remembers, oh shit, I have to describe the Jeep, and somehow fit it in between the two cars.
There was a Jeep, and after the Jeep was the SUV, the dark SUV.
You did not see a Jeep with a snowplow on the front parked in between you.
I did not.
Position, is that visible in this photograph?
I'd probably catch the very back end because there was a Jeep parked right here. Right here, so it'd be right there.
Demonstrate for the jury where that vehicle was the first time that you saw it.
Say right about here.
When you get to the house, where was it that Ricky parked the truck in relation to the house?
This girl was driving in the back of the pickup truck and has no relation to the case.
Right outside the house, probably a little past the mailbox, past the driveway.
Can you describe the distance sort of between where you are in Ricky's truck and where the vehicle is in front of you?
We were parked right behind it, just a couple feet, maybe.
You certainly did not see a full-sized Jeep Wrangler outfitted with a snowplow between the SUV and Ricky's truck.
I did not.
Uh-oh, Higgy Bear.
That's quite a bit of detail about where that Jeep was. Would you agree?
No, because I drove down the street and I took a left into the driveway and there was a Jeep there.
Did you hear what she just said? That's Jen McCabe testifying as to the Jeep being out front, which we know is a lie. But if you listen closely, she says when she turned into the driveway, the Jeep was there.
And I took a left into the driveway and there was a Jeep there.
Your memory is not just somewhere in front of the house. It's literally right in front of the mailbox, the front end of it, adjoining the line of the driveway, correct?
Yes,
That detail obviously stuck out in your mind.
it did because I was wondering whose Jeep it was.
Did you discuss that detail with your husband at any point?
Not sure.
You're aware that he put the Jeep in the exact same place that you did.
Are you aware of that? I am. Oh, wait, no. Excuse me. Repeat the question? I know he knows where the Jeep was. I'm not aware of what he said in here.
The adults clearly colluded and decided that the Jeep was going to be in front of the house. The only problem was they never counted on those 3 kids who are independent, clearly describing the fact that there was no Jeep there.
Does he know where the Jeep was because you told him what to say about the Jeep?
Absolutely not.
And you told Trouper Proctor that when you arrived at the scene, after you got there, you, quote, first observed the vehicle, meaning Miss Reed's SUV, parked on the street by the driveway facing the direction of Chapman.
I told him that when I looked out the front door, the car was straight ahead.
It turns out Michael Proctor is actually helping the defense here. He questioned each individual about where the vehicles were located in front of the house, and none of them mentioned the Jeep initially.
And yes, it was facing up Chapman.
And during the course of that conversation, you never once mentioned a several-ton Jeep with a snowplow attached to it, did you?
I'm not sure if I did or not.
You've had an opportunity to review
I
it?
have, yeah. He asked specific questions about Miss Reed's vehicle.
And when you said where you remember Miss Reed's vehicle being, you placed it in the exact spot where you're now saying there was a Jeep with a snowplow on it, correct?
Incorrect. I never placed Miss Reed's car in the spot where Mr. Higgins' vehicle was.
So as Trouper Proctor was taking notes about what you were saying, he just got it wrong.
You'd have to ask Trouper Proctor.
I will.
I know that I beat Brian and Nicole back to the house. So the back end of the Jeep would have been right around the mailbox itself. And the edge of the driveway is right there. I wanted to make sure that I was not blocking the driveway or blocked in.
You pulled up to Fairview and stopped relatively close to the driveway, as you've indicated to the jury, correct?
Correct, sir.
And your car was as much as 3 car lengths behind that SUV. Do you
Testifying is the passenger in that pickup truck.
recall that?
When we arrived,
Yes.
I would say car length and a half at the time.
Did any car pull in between Ricky's truck and the SUV when you were sitting behind the SUV?
No, sir.
You didn't see a Jeep?
No, sir.
With a big old snowplow on the front of it?
No, sir, I did not.
That car was never between your car and the SUV, was it?
I never saw any other vehicle.
Oh, come on, Higgy Bear. Why are you lying to us? We're going to figure it out. I guarantee you, Higgy Bear.
Between us.
And when you saw that black SUV parked outside the Albert home, Higgins' Jeep was still there, correct?
Yes, to my recollection, the Jeep was still outside in front of the mailbox.
The black SUV was parked in front of Higgins' Jeep with the plow on the front, correct?
That's correct.
How far or close to that Jeep was the black SUV?
I don't recall the exact distance. Again, when I looked outside I noticed my focus was on the black SUV, which looked outside.
Isn't it so great watching someone knowing that they're lying? We can now pick up on the various ways that they deceive us, including physical tells and verbal tells.
Then in front of the front door.
With regard to the distance between the Jeep and the black SUV, was it greater or smaller than the distance between you and me right now?
Oh, it'd be smaller.
You certainly did not see a full-sized Jeep Wrangler outfitted with a snowplow between the SUV and Ricky's truck.
I did not.
You did not see a Jeep with a snowplow on the front parked in between you.
I did not.
You didn't see a Jeep
No, sir.
with a big old snowplow on the front of it?
No, sir, I did not.
That car was never between your car and the SUV, was it?
I never saw any other vehicle in between us.
Could this be the reason Jen was so insistent on the kids coming into the house and not leaving?
When you first pulled up, did you notice any vehicles in front of Brian Albert's house?
It was a Jeep. It was Brian Higgins' Jeep.
Was there any other car on that curb line other than the Jeep when you pulled in?
Not that I remember.
And Brian Higgins, if it's his Jeep, he's in the house, that Jeep's not moving, correct? So it stayed where it was.
This is the second trial.
Yes.
When you looked that first time, where was Miss Reed's SUV?
When I went to the front door and looked out, it was straight ahead.
So that would be actually in line with the Jeep, correct?
Yes.
Directly in front of the Jeep.
I don't know the distance, but yes, you're correct. It was in front of the Jeep.
You certainly did not see a full-sized Jeep Wrangler outfitted with a snowplow between the SUV and Ricky's truck.
I did not.
So that would take up much of the room of the curb area in front of 34 Fairview, between the Jeep, assuming there's a snowplow,
Right.
and a full-size SUV, correct?
I'm not really sure of the whole area, but there was the Jeep and then there was the car. I just don't know the distance
Sure there was.
between them.
I'm a special agent with the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
Higgy Bear may be a killer, but he does work for a cool-sounding division of the federal government.
Do you know approximately what time you left the house on Fairview that evening?
I'd guesstimate it was anywhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, but I'm not 100% positive.
Our Higgy Bear is so cute when he's being deceptive. He starts off by telling us he's going to guesstimate, which distances himself from the actual answer. Now we're figuring out why Higgy Bear and everyone else is lying about where he parked the Jeep. It has to do with the timeline.
So relatively short period of time, is that correct?
It was a short period of time. I knew kind of from the onset when I got in there, it probably wasn't going to be a long time because I'm not a beer drinker and that's what they had.
Our Higgy Bear is so cute when he's reciting a script that he had in his mind, but it's a clear indicator of deception.
So I was probably one of the first people to leave. It was a long day. We had been on the road. I just was looking to get home.
It was a long day. I needed to get home, so I drove right to the police station and hung out there for another half hour.
Your Jeep, can you describe to the jury sort of how it was that you pulled away or what, if anything, you recall about that process?
So I got in the Jeep, started it up, may have looked at my phone, put it in drive and started to pull away. And then I'm like, put the plow up. So I reached, I moved a couple of feet. I heard it grinding on the ground, reached for the device called a fish stick, picked it up, lifted the plow, and then drove away.
What a scripted, rambling answer, but everything he's saying is intentional. Now we know why. He needed to put that plow down to clear the tracks. And remember, he's under extreme stress when he's doing it because he just attacked John.
Now, you leave the residence at 34 Fairview, and where did you go from there?
I went back to the Canton Police.
And why was it that you went back to the Canton Police Station?
Well, we had traveled down for the services for those police officers, and
Here comes another scripted answer. Go ahead, Higgy Bear.
we anticipated staying the following day. I think I had said that we left a day earlier. So I had left a key to the surveillance vehicle on top of my desk so that somebody could move the vehicle because a lot of times Chief Berkowitz would get after me. As a courtesy, I was parking vehicles there, sometimes my personal, but primarily my work vehicles. And one thing he asked me, just leave the vehicles in the middle of the parking lot so that snow could be cleared. So the reason for heading back there was to move those vehicles, because if I didn't do it then, I would have had to get up early and do it.
Higgy Bear is so cute reciting a script, and in his mind, he believes that his story, with all its detail, is going to fool all of us.
And I also know they plow through the night, so that would be the reason for heading back.
Mr. Higgins, you weren't actually at Canton PD to do administrative work at 1:30 in the morning, were you?
I was moving the vehicles. I'm sure it's on video.
Right there was another moment that I felt physically that he was lying to us. And then I figured, what would be the reason he's offering up the fact that he's on video? And it relates to the lie about where he parked his Jeep, because he wants us to place him not at 34 Fairview, but at the Canton Police Station at a specific time.
Good afternoon, Sergeant Buknik. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name for the record?
My name is Yuri Buchanan.
Trouper Proctor. Trouper Proctor.
Bukhenik.
Damn, I never thought Yuri could actually move like that, considering how slow he is in answering every single question.
Did you see a car pass in front?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of car did that look like to you?
It looked like a two-door Jeep Wrangler with a plow on it.
Sergeant, did you, during the course of your investigation, learn whether or not anybody associated with your investigation had a two-door Jeep Wrangler with a plow on it?
Yes.
Who is that?
Mr. Brian Higgins.
This is the surveillance video Higgy prompted us to look at, and it shows him arriving at 1:26. Since 34 Fairview is only located about a 5-minute drive away, Higgy Bear probably didn't leave the house until about 1:15.
Stop. Do you recognize the person in this video?
It appears to be Mr. Brian Higgins.
That is old Higgy Bear, and one thing is very suspicious. White people never wear the hoods up indoors. They usually save that for when they're outside.
1:34:15, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, fair enough.
Appears to be an individual wearing a black beanie hat, black dark colored sweatshirt with some design on it, and something illuminating by his face.
Does that appear to be the same person?
Could possibly be, yeah.
And does it appear as something in his hands up to his face, the right side of his face or ear?
Yes.
What do you think that is?
It's consistent with a cellular device, possibly a phone or a tablet.
Very good, Yuri. That's exactly what it is, a tablet being held up. However, we never got the call records as to whom he was calling at 1:36 in the morning. But there's only two possible reasons Higgy Bear lied about the Jeep being parked in front of the house. The first is to distance himself from the actual crime. If John was attacked and hit that plow somehow, then obviously they want to remove it from the scene and have it placed in the front yard. The second option deals with timeline deception. If Higgy Bear parked his girly Jeep out front, then it's more likely that he did leave first, and then he's able to distance himself from the time John was actually attacked. But either way, to this date, Higgy Bear remains our #1 suspect.